Hello again, Marco here from OriginTrail, the lead AI developer. And this will be a video where I'll walk you through basically how to use our SDK for JavaScript. And yeah, keep in mind we also have an SDK for Python. It's pretty similar, and yeah, you should be able to figure it out looking at the docs. If you also watch this video, it will be easier for you to understand the Python one as well, but I'll be showing the JavaScript one. So, of course, you can either install our SDK via the npm. You can npm install dkg.js at latest to get the latest version, I guess. Or you can download the repo and use the demo.js file directly. That's the way I'll be using it here. And the first thing you need to do is you need to set up the client. What do you need to do to set up the client? You need to set up the environment. Of course, I don't really want to show my private keys. That's why I'm using the environment file. But environment will be testnet here because I'm using the testnet. Endpoint is the endpoint that you're using to access your node. And I'm using a public one, so I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but in the docs, this public node is available. You can find it and you can use it. It's open for everyone. And yeah, the idea is that you guys don't really have to set up your own nodes. You can also use our public ones to just play with it. And it's something like this, I think. Oh my god, I cannot type. Apologies. Well, it's not like this for sure, but it's something like this, like v6 Pegasus. Basically, it's the URL. That's what they wanted to show here. The port is mostly always 8900. You can set it up to be anything on your own personal nodes, but we always use this. This is the key of my wallet, which I'll be using to pay for the publishes. I don't want to show those, and the blockchain codes are also in the docs, and this is the code for base testnet. For example, this is the code for NeuroWeb mainnet, this is the code for Gnosis mainnet, and this is the code for base mainnet. I also have some other unneeded, totally unneeded parameters here, like maximum number of retries, frequency of retries, the content type, which, yeah, I don't want to dive deep into this, to be honest. Not sure why they were there, because we want to keep it simple for this one. So, before we do anything, I want to show you how you can check if your node is functional. So you have this info route, and I'm going to run the file, the demo file, and I'm getting the version, which means that I'm definitely connected to the node, and I'm ready to start, basically. If you receive some sort of an error or no response, that probably means you either didn't set up your node well, or maybe our node that is public is down. That probably won't happen, though. So, the first thing we obviously want to do is we want to create a knowledge asset, publish a knowledge asset, actually in this case a knowledge collection. And on this example I'll also show what's a knowledge asset and what's a knowledge collection. So we are publishing this knowledge collection, which has a public part and a private part. In the public part we're putting some very basic information about New York City. This is the ID that we're using. It follows the URN, let's say, principle. You can Google about it. It's from RDF framework. And we also have this private part which uses the same ID. And the difference is this is some private data that we don't want to publish publicly in this case. For example, the average income of a person that lives in New York City. And also we are connecting this New York City one to some other cities, which, let's say, hypothetically exist in the graph. So, if we wanted, so this is basically a knowledge collection, which has this knowledge asset represented by this identifier. And if I wanted to, let's say, add a person, is this even a word? I'm not sure. Let's say it should be mayor. And this mayor is an entity with some ID, which I'll think of in a minute. And let's say the name of this mayor is, I don't know, John, and his surname is, I don't know, Doe. And the ID, let's say his ID will be URN, John Doe 1. So now we actually have two knowledge assets in this knowledge collection. One is the New York City one, and the other one is the, what's it called, the mayor one. And this means that actually two knowledge assets will be minted here instead of one. Actually, there will be 3 knowledge assets because we need to mint one for the private part as well. But yeah, that's a bit like diving deep. If you want to know more, like feel free to ping us on the Discord. But for the sake of simplicity, let's say that there are two. And we will create this knowledge asset. Then we will get it using the UAL, which is returned by the create. So we are creating it. How? We are passing the content. We're passing how many epochs we want to store it for. And this is some custom stuff that I added, actually that I had here from before and that I don't want to remove it. We will show you what the result is. And in the result, the most important thing returned is the UAL, which is the uniform asset locator of this asset. And we want to get the asset, actually the data which is related to this asset, actually the knowledge collection to be more precise. And this content type wall parameter is, I want to get both the public and the private data. And I will remove this other stuff. The query I'll leave for later. And let's run this and publish the knowledge assets. Again, I'm saying knowledge assets. I should be saying knowledge collection. And we got the response. So, well, this is very ugly to be honest, but I don't really want to redo the whole video, so we'll go with it. We got the URL in the response, and we got some other stuff such as the Merkle root and the signatures. And once we get the asset, we have here data about John Doe, we have data about New York City, and this is the private data. And we also have the data from the public. So as you can see, we got both the public and the private data. And if we use content type private, we would get only the private data. If we use content type public, we would get only the public data. And yeah, that's what I wanted to do with this knowledge collection. Also, one thing that I'll try here is to access it through the testnet explorer. And as you can see, I mean, as you will be hopefully able to see, yeah, this is it. Let me just unzoom. We have the whole knowledge collection here, and we cannot see these public parts because, these private parts, sorry, because they're private. And I believe what we can do here is we can, so this is the URL of the knowledge collection. And if we want to access the second knowledge asset of this knowledge collection, we can do /2. What is showing is the New York knowledge assets. Okay, so we created one knowledge asset here, so let's create another one. I'll remove public for now, and I will remove the mayor, I guess, and okay, I'll just remove pretty much everything. And I'm not very good with geography, but I want to create Washington. The name of the city is for sure Washington, DC, I guess, and state might also be Washington. I'll just go with that. And I'll just add an is related to, and I want to say that this is related to the New York City one. And how I'll do that is I'll create an entity that this is related to. I'll have to put the ID of the New York City here. And also I want to say that this New York City knowledge asset is part of this URL. So I'll copy this, put it here. And this is a way to basically signify which URL you can use to access this whole New York City assertion. And hopefully I can find, okay, here it is. Here's the ID of the New York one. So to connect to knowledge assets, you have to use the ID. The corresponding ID of the knowledge assets that you're connecting to. And yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I want to create it. This time I'll just keep getting it. And this time I want to query it actually. So I want to, let's say I want to get, okay, actually let me explain how querying works first. So you're using the dkg client.craft.query function, and you pass the query that you want to execute. This is a Sparkle query. Sparkle is a language similar to SQL, but it's used for RDF graphs. and you put the type of the query, which is select in this case. It can also be construct, and yeah, more information is in the docs. So we are selecting some stuff where some conditions are satisfied, and the condition I want to put here is I want to get all cities that are connected to Washington. And the way that should work is I should copy this is related to. So the predicate is related to, and I want to get all cities that are connected, and I want to get for each city, actually this should just be city, I want to get the name. So let's say I'm selecting the city, which would be the ID of the city and the city name. This should work. Actually, for the sake of simplicity, let's just create this asset first and then we'll run the query. But the query is ready. Okay, great. We created the Washington asset as well. So we'll just comment the creation again, and we'll uncomment the querying, and we'll run the query. Hopefully it works. Okay, so the video will probably cut to here because I had a mistake in the query, so I had to rewrite it, but this query now works, and let me explain to you the query. So we're using the schema prefix like we used it when we were creating the knowledge asset. And we are selecting each city that is related to Washington. And then we are taking all predicates and objects that are connected to this city, which is connected to Washington. So we will get all information that is in the graph regarding New York City here. And yeah, let's test the query. Okay, great. So we got everything. And actually, yeah, as you can see, New York City is part of this URL, which we got from the Washington asset. And also from the New York asset, we got both the public and the private data, because we're targeting the node where we publish this private data. So yeah, we have access to the private data. That's why we got it. And as you can see, yeah, we got the crime rate, the infrastructure score, and also the other related cities. So yeah, this is it for the SDK video. We covered the three main operations we use in the DQG. So the query, well, let's go by order. The creation of the knowledge assets, how to get them using the uniform asset locators, UALs, and how to query them. And like I said in the beginning of the video, there's also Python SDK. Feel free to check it out. Also check out the docs. Yeah, which are here. There's more information there. And yeah, if you have any uncertainties, questions, suggestions, feel free to join the Discord and ping us. And yeah, I'll maybe see you in another video, probably. Like, share, and subscribe, I guess. And yeah, bye-bye.